So guys, welcome back to the channel, and I wanted to kind of give you guys a update on the Soundcore A30i's. So real fast, I still use these earbuds to this day. I do alternate with different buds, but these are the ones I use for traveling. They've been beaten up, used in inclement weather, gym, rain, scootering in the rain, stuff like that, and they actually survived, which I'm very surprised about that. They're built for it tough, put it that way. But anyway, when it comes to specs, these are about 50 bucks, regular price, but you can get them for about $20 on Amazon, normally on sale. And you can also get them at Burlington Coat Factory, but it's kind of like hit and miss. If they have it, they have it. If they don't, they don't. So Amazon would be a better bet. You have ANC, you have advanced ANC, you can actually adjust the level from 1 to 5. You do have adaptive ANC on these also, 3D sound. You have 22 EQs. Not to mention you do have a custom EQ if you choose to do that. So for people, the custom people out there, rejoice, you can do that. The battery life is only 7 hours in the air and 24 in the case. I believe 24 in the case and then 7 in the air for a total, which isn't bad. But if you do use ANC, it's going to drop a little bit, so keep that in mind. But if you're an Apple user, don't worry. You guys barely have battery life anyway, so you should be used to less battery life. And this is much more than Apple users. Fast charging, 10 minutes will give you 2 hours of listening time. Keep in mind that talk time is going to drop significantly compared to listening time, about half of that or so. So if you find your headset dying throughout the day, it's because talk time and listening time are two separate entities. So just keep that in mind. There is no wireless charging. It is IP54, 4 microphones with AI. So you have clear microphones. You do have touch controls, which you can manually turn off if you choose to. I turn them off because I don't care for touch controls. You have multi-point connection, which works very well, Bluetooth 5.4, and transparency mode, normal mode. There's a wind protection feature and a bunch of other stuff in the EQ. I'm going to talk all about all of that stuff. Now, there are timestamps in the description for anyone that wants to skip this, but let's get right into this review. And I want to talk about how, regardless of how old a headset is, if it works, you don't need to replace it. And this is one of those headsets. So let's get right into this review and talk about how good these headphones are. Actually, the good and the bad, because there is some drawbacks also. So real fast, I'm going to show you guys how to sync these buds. It's very, very simple. Pop the case open, take both earbuds out, place them down. Both buds are going to communicate with one another, left or right. And keep in mind, you can use either bud by itself if you want to talk into it while the other one is charging. Now from here, we're going to go to the settings. Where is it? Oh, I'm already in Bluetooth. So it actually is searching right here, A31i. Just go ahead and tap that and hit pair. Now, just in case you're wondering, I did skip one step, which was basically go into settings, Bluetooth itself, and then it pairs. I also want you guys to keep in mind that if you're using a PC or a MacBook or a Mac product or a tablet, the process is basically going to be the same. Now, if you want to unsync it, you just hit the cogwheel. For Android users, you'll hit forget. It'll be something similar to this for every single Android device, and you're pretty much good to go from here. Now, in order for multi-point to work, you will need the application itself, which I'm going to show you guys how to use that and get to multi-point. But for now, let's move forward with the fit and fill, because this part is actually very important. So I wanted to kind of give you guys a comparison of the ear modes so you can get an idea of different sizes. This is the Soundcore A30 Sleep Buds, right? And as you can see, it's a lot more ear room. So you're going to feel less irritation and less soreness. And I'll explain that in a moment. While you have the A30i's right here, which do fill the entire ear canal. So you see the rim right here, how it's pressing against the earlobe itself in the display model. This is how it's going to look. So if you do this one, this is how it's going to look. If people are walking behind you on a side profile, and this is how it's going to look with these. So these are very, very chunky buds. Now they do come with different ear tips, of course, and these come with different wing tips, but these are the ones I normally use when I'm just at work or walking around in general. These are the ones I use while I'm in the subway because it has better microphones for wind protection, and it's a really cool feature. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But what I will say is that if you wear these for long extended periods of time, and you're actually playing music louder than like 50-60% or so, I noticed that I don't really get soreness inside the ear itself, but when you have it on for 4 or 5 hours, which does have a pretty long battery life, longer than that actually. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Apple. It actually presses against this part of your ear. That's why I say I'm actually going to get more ear modes, a large, a small, a extra large, cauliflower ear. They sell it so I can show you guys the different ear modes and how it looks inside the ear, because everyone's going to feel different comfort levels. Personally, I don't mind using these, but you're always going to know they're inside of your ears. And after a certain amount of time, I have to kind of take them out because they feel a little bit sore. That's for most earbuds of this physical size. This is a big earbud. Like, look at it. You got the ear hook right here, piece. Not ear hook, but the way it's designed, I kind of wish they didn't have all this. Like, if you cut all this off and just had the rubber tip, it would fit better, in my personal opinion. But these buds are old now. Like, I had them for over a year. I'm not sure when the release date was. I don't remember. But they're still good for what they do. It's been over a year. They're still holding up very well. So I'm not complaining about that. But yeah, when you look at the sheer size, it's hit and miss. But for $20 on sale, it's still worth it because you can always re-gift them to somebody else. Just my personal opinion. The sound quality for this headset is really, really good. Even though it's not better than their top of the line buds, because they will come out a lot clearer and sharper than this one, this still sounds like a top tier headset, especially for the asking price. You can't really find anything in this price point that's going to be better than these headphones. And I'll take that to the grave. I honestly believe that. So let me kind of break down what I mean. So this has multi-point. So if I switch between multi-point, I play games like Ender Lilies, Dead Space Remake, Resident Evil 4 Remake. I'm playing the Ender Magnolia, Silk Song, the original Hollow Knight. I'm just playing 7 Days to Die. I'm playing a bunch of different games, right? I don't have any issues with lag latency, meaning when I shoot the gun or if a person's having a conversation or if music playing, if the game messes up, that's just the game messing up. But the headset always keeps up with all the sound. So for that person out there trying to hear the footsteps playing Call of Duty and different things like that, this headset's going to work very, very well for you. Now, if you're just listening to it for strictly music and podcasting and things like that, I'm going to jump over to a different category. The voices come out very clean and very sharp. Listen to the Joe Button podcast, the yelling, the air horns, all that stuff. It comes out high quality, in my opinion. And I don't think these even have LDAC. I think it's like AAC and SBC. I forget the codecs, but it doesn't have LDAC. And it comes out super clean, which is a good thing. And remember, this is a year-old headset with Bluetooth 5.4. On top of that, if I'm playing Juice WRLD, everyone knows if you follow my channel, I like Juice WRLD. I'll play a couple songs from him. I'll play Trippie Redd. I'll switch over to Doja Cat. I'll go to Expedition 33, and then I'll jump to Hajime no Ippo, and then I'll jump over to Paper Moon. Like, I don't have a set amount of music that I listen to. I try different genres. I'm willing to try anything if I like it, right? And every single genre I played, it just performed very well. The vocals were very clean. The instruments in the background, whether it's violins playing or the bass line, everything sound really pronounced with this particular headset. I don't remember what I said in my original review, because this is just like a re-review of a product to kind of give you guys an update, but the sound is phenomenal for this. And like I said before, unless you compare this to a high-end headset that's worth hundreds of dollars, then you're going to notice a huge difference in sound. Like if you compare this to AirPods, you're going to notice a difference. If you compare this to the highest end Galaxy Buds, you're going to notice a difference. If you compare it to the highest end Soundcore or JBLs, you're going to notice a difference. But at the same time, you won't. When you look at the price tag and what this offers, you're not going to be like, oh, this is lacking. You're going to be like, well, I'd rather go for the product that's actually affordable. That's why I like Soundcore. There's something for everybody at a different price point. They're not forcing you to buy one headset that barely has any features, and if you want the next one, that one barely has any features. It's like, no, it's jam-packed with ANC, transparency, wind protection, you get updates, you have the Find My, custom EQs, it has everything that you need, and this is why I like this brand. But anyway, I glazed them a little bit too much. I'm just going to hop on to the next section. But again, if you find this headphones at Ross or Burlington for $20, purchase it. Because worst case scenario, you can give it to someone that wants it because it's a really good gift. This, to me, the level of quality that this headset has, even after a year, like I said before, it beats out a lot of brands. And it's like, why pay more if this does everything you needed to do? You know what I mean? Save your money. So my suggestion is to always download the Soundcore application. It's absolutely free. It's up to you if you want to register your email so it can remember your EQs, but if you don't, no big deal. The point is that, you still get full access to the app for the most part. So we have the Soundcore A30i's right here. It shows you the battery life of the buds inside the actual app itself. It doesn't show you the battery life of the case, so you will have to kind of keep that charged up on your own, so keep that in mind. You have a bunch of different options right here. where it says ambient sound, which is noise cancellation. You have normal mode and you have transparency mode. So we want to go ahead and click transparency right here. And there's no level of transparency. It's just whatever you have on the headset. It works. It works well, as a matter of fact. Now, personally, I don't use transparency mode because I just take the earbud out of my ear. But for that person out there that always wears their earbuds, the transparency mode is clear enough and just fine. You can talk to people while transparency mode is on, and you can hear them clearly. You will still be able to tell that you have a headset on, but you can have a full-blooded conversation. You won't have to ask the person, what you say? Could you repeat that? You'll be fine if you're talking to a person in real life. Normal mode is self-explanatory. It's just a normal mode outside of the box with no cancellation on for noise cancellation and no transparency mode on. But I will also say that if you have these in your ear, it does a pretty good job of sealing out noise around you in general. So if you play the music, you can still block out a lot of people. But when it's busier areas, you're going to want to turn on that noise cancellation. So right here we have wind reduction. Super important. Always turn this feature on. You may ask, what is that? What wind reduction does is, let's say you're jogging or running, or if you're on a scooter or even a motorcycle to train, right? You ever use other earbuds and the person can't hear you, so you got to either call them back or take the Bluetooth off and just use your speaker for your phone? Well, this feature will block out a lot of those sounds in the background. And so far, I promise you, I scooter to and from work a lot of times, whether it's the summertime, the spring, the winter, rain, does not matter. My scooter goes I have multiple scooters, but one goes 20 miles an hour, one went 25 miles an hour, one went 18 miles an hour. I have an electric bike also that goes 20 miles an hour, the High Boy C1, I believe it's called. And my wife is able to hear me without a problem. So I can use a regular helmet if I choose to. And even though the wind is whipping in my face and hitting, we can still have a full-blooded conversation and she can hear every word that I'm saying at those speeds. And I'm like, I don't know what technology they use. I don't know if it's patented, but Soundcore seems to be the only one that does this. But anyway, that's enough glazing for right now. If you click on mode right here, you have manual mode. I leave mine on manual and on 5 for noise cancellation, but you do have the option to lower this. And when you do that, you're going to feel pressure in your ear decrease. If you go down to 1, it's going to increase at 5, because that means that I'm not sure, it's not called microphones, but whatever the technology in it, it blocks out more sound, right? That's how noise cancellation works. You also have the option for adaptive ANC. So you can make it where if you keep it on adaptive, depending on the location where you are, whether I'm outside, walking, if I change locations, it's going to automatically adjust based on my location. So if it gets louder and people are around me, the noise cancellation is going to get stronger. Versus if I'm by myself walking after work in my neighborhood, which is pretty quiet for the most part, the noise cancellation is going to be a lot less. It'll still be there, but it just adjusts for you automatically, so you don't have to do it. But if you don't like that, then you can just do manual mode also. You also have something called multi-scene ANC. Now, this is a little bit different than the other two because it's presets for transport, outdoor, and indoor. So if you're outdoor, it's going to block out more cars than anything else, but you're going to be able to hear conversations more often. If it's transport, transport blocks out cars and locomotives and things like that. Outdoor is more so like when you're around nature and stuff, you're not really going to hear it. Honestly, you may not even hear your own footsteps if you're walking. So you got to be careful with that. And when it comes to indoors, the ANC is going to be a little bit lighter. And you're going to be able to hear voices. But if you have an air conditioner or a fan in the background, even a shower running, for example, it blocks out a lot of that sound. And I implore people, if you have this headset, turn on the ANC, adjust it, turn on your shower, and see how good it does to block out that water. And you're going to be like, wow, these are actually really good, especially for the asking price. It's really good. So anyway, let's kind of move forward. You have the sound effects section, which is basically all the features in terms of equalizers. Now you do have a custom EQ right here, and you can, let me see if I click it. I'm sorry, my phone uses a weird tempered glass. There we go, custom EQ. You can actually click on that, and you can change the EQ to whatever it is that you want right here. I'm just gonna kind of just leave it like that because I'm not gonna use it. I normally use the default, which is Soundcore Signature, but you have bass booster, bass reducer. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna go through this right here. These are all the different ones that you have that are presets. You can customize it yourself like I showed you. You also have 3D sound. Up to you if you want to use that. I personally don't. I don't care for experimental technology like that. I just want to just use the headset like a normal person and just go about my day. Now, when it comes to controls, you do have the option to turn the touch controls off, which is exactly what I do personally. Right here, I'm just going to scroll down. It says Call, not adjustable. So if you're answering calls or hanging up calls, you can't adjust what you do with that, but you can adjust these. So you have single taps, double taps, triple taps, and tap and hold. Now keep in mind, you have left bud and right bud. So if you look at that symbol blinking, it shows you the area where the touch controls actually work. And if you tap it, here you are, volume up, volume down, next, previous, pause and play. It's going to be the same. Actually, it's a little bit more for double tap. I apologize, I was wrong. You have voice assistant and ambient sound included in that. Triple taps, same thing. And then tap and hold, same thing. So the only one that has slightly different settings is going to be single taps because they're the easiest. The other ones have the extra options, but it's going to be the same on both sides for the left and the right. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, moving forward, there is a couple more things to look at. If you look at the cogwheel on the top right-hand corner, I already tapped it. You have a fit test. You have a prompt tone. What that means is every time there's like you touch a feature or something, you can actually hear the touch features. You can turn that off if you choose to. You also can get a low battery prompt. It'll let you know that the headset is dying. I'll leave it on. It's already preset on, I believe, when you first get the headset. You have dual connections. This is very important. Now, in order to use multi-point, you come here. This is the history of stuff I have. So, it still remembers some of the old phones that I had. Anyway, you will hit connect new device, and that will automatically put your headset into pairing mode. It will still be connected to the previous device, and then you can just sync it to the new device, and then you're good to go. Now, keep in mind, multi-point only works with 2 devices at one time. If you want to alternate, you got to deactivate one in the app, and then, activate the next one, but only 2 devices at one time. What else do we have? Auto off. I turn that off because I don't really want my headphones to turn off automatically if they're outside of the case. You do have find device, which it will do a little chime and look for it. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can do that now. I'll put it close to the headset. So like a little beep. Sounds like a little alarm. Little beep, 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 beep. I don't know if you guys heard that, but you have that. You have update firmware, which you do have the option to update firmware, but it's been a while since I received an update, to be honest with you. I forget when the last time they did an update, but if they ever do decide to add something to it, they will. But because these headphones are well over a year old, you're probably not going to get really any more updates for them, but they work as is. So that's pretty much the entire application. I know this was a super long part, but I do feel like I need to flesh this out for the person out there that wants to learn about the headset. My suggestion is just to play around and tweak and try it yourself. And if you like it, hey, buy them for that $20 if you can find them for that price tag, because they are definitely worth more than $20. Obviously, they cost more than that, but you find Soundcore has a lot of sales on Amazon and stuff. So let's move forward. So this right here is going to be a sample of the sound quality that you're getting with the Soundcore earbuds if you're having conversations or doing recordings. Now, what I will say is that when I speak to my wife all the time, she says I come out crystal clear. And, I haven't had any issues with talking, whether it's, I'm about to say telemarketers, talking to people at my job, having conversations, just everyday life. No one complained about the microphones to me whatsoever, which is a good thing. Now, are they going to outbeat some of the Apple microphones or the high-end Samsungs? Not necessarily, but with that wind protection feature that's included, it's honestly a force to be reckoned with, at least in my opinion, personally. For anyone that has Soundcore, you have wind protection, you know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. I've never come across a company that has that feature. I don't know why they don't have it, but it's one of the best features that I come across, honestly, on any headset. And it's one of the main reasons why I stick with their brand in the first place, because I can use these earbuds anywhere, in any weather situation for the most part. Obviously not Antarctica and stuff, but I'm in Philadelphia, so you know what I mean? So with rain, the gym, sweat, it just works. And I don't know what technology they use, and honestly, I don't even care. I just know it works, and I'm enjoying my experience. So in conclusion, these are really good buds, man. I held on to these out of all of my earbuds because sometimes in life, no matter if you get better stuff, which I do, I have better headphones, it doesn't mean that what I have doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, not everyone wants to spend hundreds of dollars for headphones every time a new product comes out. Some people do that. They buy an iPhone every single year, even though they don't know how to use the iPhone that they currently have. They don't do edits. They don't do anything, but they want the next thing. It's in our nature a lot of times to want things, but I'm a firm believer that you got to be frugal. I think that's the right word, frugal with your money, or you got to be careful with it. You don't have to buy a new headset every single time. That's why I like Soundcore products, because they have something for somebody. Now, what I will say is that some people won't like the lipstick design, especially men. Me, I could care less. It's a headset, it works. I did feel away at first, but I was like, who cares? Listen, the headphones are good. I'm gonna use them. I like them. They work well. They held up after a year. I didn't need to replace them. They do have occasional disconnectivity issues depending on where you are in a city. Like sometimes I used to pass 15th and Market and stuff, and it may be a little interference or something, and it would disconnect for like 2 seconds and reconnect on its own. But outside of that, my overall experience has been really good with this headset, and I really do suggest them. So anyway, like and subscribe like always. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care, peace, God bless, and I'll see you guys. Oh, I'm sorry, peace. There we go. And I'll see you guys in the next one.